Okay, what connections do you find between issues in the work and your own culture and experiences? Alright, Amanda.
I can say like from both of the countries, like I've lived in Romania and Ukraine. At least in Romania, they had the whole problem with communism and where people weren't allowed to leave the country because they were borders closed. So people would go behind their backs and try to create fake passports or run away. And a lot of people were going back and were going against each other. Like your neighbors could tell you off to the government so that they could get money. Like people would get rewards for being good to the government. And then in Ukraine, with the whole principle of origins idea of heroes, how they were tortured and not tortured, but like they stood up for what they believed in. With the 100 people who died in Ukraine, they're considered as heroes now because of what happened and how they stood up for the government and how they died doing that.
What I was gonna say was that the connections, but literally our religion is the same thing, but the things that are similar that both have extremists. Like over here, not everyone's extremist, but over there everyone is, but there are extremists. And we're supposed to do on the veil, we're supposed to both follow a set of rules. But the thing that's actually really, really similar is how it's not something that, I was going to tell you. That both cultures are mainly dependent on the generation that's about to come. Like how they're mainly targeting the children because they're mostly gullible. Which is why they keep saying teach your children from since they're a kid, because when they grow up it's going to be more harder. So that's what's similar. So the most.
You think you can
So yeah, just I'm from Kurdistan, and Kurds have been oppressed throughout history, and these demonstrations that they have, like in the beginning of the book, we see the parents. I can relate to that. My parents, not now in the Bible, before they used to be active in demonstrations and protests, and yeah, it could get violent. I wouldn't say that I can relate to the Margie. I wasn't as enthusiastic as her, but yeah.
Sam?
What I could relate to most was like, okay, the family dynamic and like just how the family acted first around each other and what the family viewed as right and wrong. Very similar to my own family. And yeah, when I was reading through it, I'm like, wait, am I gonna pop in there sometimes? Yeah, so yeah. I felt like I could like see my parents and her parents. And, yeah.
In specific, what were the things that you guys had in common?
Like, you know how our parents are very liberal compared to what the regime is, right? And just liberal in general. And yeah, I saw my parents were also adopt the same attitude. And yeah. Like, you know, I think there's was it in Linus, like in a later chapter, but they literally gave the wrong use of wine to drink. Was it?
I think it was chapter that was.
No,
I think it was earlier in one of the parts.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that I remember that my parents used to sometimes like in Turkey right now here. Because video, not here. Of course not. Yeah. So my parents would like give me a bit of something to drink. Like, let's take a sip, and then I'd take a whole cup just to piss them off. But, yeah, so stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Did you feel the same tensions in Turkey between your family's more liberal ways and perhaps other elements of society?
We didn't live in Turkey. I left when I was 3. But what's going on now and how my parents react to it is very, very similar. Like with Erdogan now, and that attitude he adopts, firstly, Atatürk's whole Turkish revolution and all that, and also how he treats religion, they kind of don't like it. I mean, there's not much to like, but they don't like it yet. And so it's similar in a way, the fact that they disapprove of the government and who's leading it and all that. Yeah.
What else?
You know what I would do is so stupid? That one part where like they're in class and then like they have to read out like there's this paper on the revolution and like the friend whose father had died
So both of them write, and then she writes something which is like elaborate and statistical and factual and nicely presented. And then her friend goes up there and like gives like a personal anecdote, and then the friend gets like applause, and she's just like there. Yeah, I associated with that.
Why did you associate with that?
I don't know, like I feel like
Emotions are stronger for people than like
Yeah,
stat facts.
yeah, like there's been a lot of times, you know, where like either my writing was too emotional or like too statistical and factual, and it's like I was like, oh yeah, this is like, it made me nostalgic.
Okay. For what age?
All ages. Like ever since I could write.
Okay. That's James.
Like, also the idea of like religion in schools, like, government schools in particular. I know that like in general, like a lot of countries have had this issue like in the past few years at least, where if government does force like us, like every public schools to like have one particular religion which they must like teach or like practice. Like I know in this school, like or in like UAE, like it's obviously optional, except if you're like you can have Islamic studies and stuff, but some governments like force it, and a lot of people are against that, obviously.
Yeah, it's a huge conflict in America. Huge.
For me, like, it was kind of hard to associate with the book because, like, religion has never played, like, a really big role in my life, and it doesn't in my family either. And, like, regarding the revolution, like, I've never lived through something like that, or, like, a war, or, like, something like that. And I've been in Dubai for really long, too, so, like, not a lot happens here.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. So like I connected more with kind of like the emotional, like you know, like her family dynamic, like how her mom like tries to like you know what, like how her mom tries to like kind of protect her like from the like when the bomb goes off in her street, and like her mom kind of tries to protect her, like change the subject and like everything. I kind of related to that because my mom, like she's also kind of like that, like she tries to like avoid subjects or things like kind of like as a protection of like. She still thinks that I'm really young, but you know. So I kind of connected more with like the romantic side.
Jonathan, can I say anything?
I don't know, like, I was thinking, like, I agree with Manuk that, like, something that I guess I relate to in the book, and obviously in the book it's so much greater extreme, but it's like not knowing the consequences of your actions at all. Because in the book, some people overthrew the Shah, believing that what would come next would be what they wanted. It wouldn't be the suppressive government, which is what it became. And like obviously, like I haven't lived through something like that, but just like doing something and believing you're doing it for the best reasons, and then you get told off for it or something like that. You know, it's something that happens I think in our everyday lives.
Yeah. The law of unintended consequences.
Like just like Valentina's idea of a revolution leads to another revolution. Kind of happened in Egypt. Where like a revolution, then a new leader, then another revolution, now like a temporary sort of leader. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So
So,
it's
like,
another.
it happens in like current day as well. Not just 20 years ago, it still happens.
When you tip over the apple cart, you never know what will happen. When you unleash these forces on society.
So like, I agree completely with Valentina's because, but not just specifically to Argentina, to the whole revolution. Because I know like kids also like when there's a revolution in their country, they're all like, oh, let's fight against the government and everything, but they don't think about like revolutions mean you're gonna die, people are gonna die, the country's gonna go ballistic. You know, you don't know what's gonna come next. Maybe some other really bad government comes in, you might end up in like horrible consequences. But the only thing they think about is that I just want to get this done with, and I want to be strong, kind of in a way. And so.
So was the lesson from that never to change your society?
No, it was to think about what can happen.
But it's unplanned.
Unless you have like the opposition like leader, or people are leading the revolution like firmly set, like this is the person who's going to take it off until we can set up this type of government. But it's never that time.
Okay. Our then
I just wanted to say I kind of disagree with you because I feel as if in the countries that I've lived in, mostly the West African ones, the children had a really good sense of what was coming and what was going to happen and the consequences. Like I remember being young and like kind of going back to Minu, And kind of to Valentina, when you were talking about how her mom was trying to cover her and how you relate to that, I think in my family we were kind of always subjected, and our parents always like told us exactly what was happening, which I can kind of see in this book when her parents is giving her all the information about the war and the books to learn about it. I related to that part because, you know, we were always watching the news and they were always explaining, oh, this is happening here and that is happening there, and if this happens then maybe, you know, things like that. So I kind of disagree with you in the way that I think children have a really good sense of what's gonna happen.
Right?
I don't remember who said it, but you know the whole thing about change? So I was like, I think like the message, well, which I got was like progressive change versus radical change. And I think like, it kind of says like radical change doesn't lead to positive repercussions, whereas progressive change is the way to go.
Have you guys read 1984 yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are like the progressive versus what?
Radical.
Progressive change. You know what I thought?
Alexis and then
I actually have a question on the unintended consequences. How you're saying like it wasn't planned for all this, but they kind of wanted, so they wanted to overthrow the Shah, but did they intend to want the Islamic regime to come
I
in?
bet some of them did.
But was it like the majority or?
I mean, I don't think we can really tell from this book, are there?
I wouldn't like
You weren't
personally
alive.
know, but my mom, she was telling me like, sure people were weren't exactly happy with the Shah, but they didn't want the Islamic regime to come in either. Like I think they just wanted like something totally different.
So they didn't want to.
No.
And I think maybe, yeah, Margie's family certainly didn't want either. You know, you really see that with Uncle Noosh, you know, and what happens with him.
Like the radical change, progressive change, I just wanted to add that I feel like the Shah did, like, at least in Margie's eyes, like they're trying out, I don't know, the 8 prime ministers or like the 8 new leaders that he put. He was trying to do some progressive change, and like the demonstrations were working, but like they didn't actually have any effect. He just ended up resorting back to his old rules. Like, progressive change is not always effective.
I think just with the progressive change, I don't think it was the fact that it was progressive change, I just think it's hard for people to let go of power. And so like the Shah, maybe he did want a better thing for the country, but it's really hard to let go of like having a really high social status to having nothing.
I think, like, I agree with Amanda. I think it's a combination of that plus the fact that people don't accept progressive change. Because people always demand more, and like progressive change is at the end of the day progressive, like it doesn't all happen at once. So like people like glorify and romanticize radical change is something which is gonna, you know, bring them a utopia. But like the reality is that radical change only led to like an oppressive, like Islamic regime, whereas the Shah was at least attempting progressive change, was like what's the word, like
Accepted.
not accepted.
Good.
I just wanted to add, I really connected with what you just said because we have a saying in my language that says, you won't be able to see the result of what you're fighting for, which is what I kind of feel is progressive change. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Let's go to the last question. Switch up the video real quick.